broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the heart of Dixie. I am Michael, and I am here with Liberty Larry.
How's it going?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good.
So in that few seconds, did you remember how you wanted to start the podcast? Yeah,
Nope.
me either.
It's gone.
Yeah, I had something in mind earlier. I was like, oh, that would be kind of funny to talk about to start things off. And then you told me that you had an idea too, but you couldn't remember what it was. And I can't remember what mine was. So here we are just winging it like we usually do.
Yeah. We usually don't come in with any real plan to start things off.
For anybody who listens regularly, I imagine that that's apparent.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
No. See.
Got any big
it's a
plans
shame.
for Halloween?
No. I'm going to turn off all the lights so that kids don't come knock on my door.
Yeah. You're not even going to give out candy?
No. I did buy 2
Well, it's pretty smart
bags.
because it's expensive this year.
Well, I bought some for me.
Yeah. Was it expensive?
I don't really remember. I got it from the Dollar General up the street. So Halloween is the only time of year that they put out the little Tootsie Roll Pops.
Yep.
And now they have lots more flavors than they used to have. It used to be like 5 flavors. Now it's like a dozen or more
I wonder
flavors.
if they have that many flavors on the big ones, or if that's just for the small ones.
I don't know. I don't like the big ones.
I like the big ones too, but the small ones are better. They're like the right amount of a sucker. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like Dum Dum side.
Yeah. I like those, but I've always liked the big ones too. But they are too much in your mouth. They take too long. But I like them.
Yeah. My problem with the big ones, this is weird. It like perfectly fits the arcade of my jaw, like where my teeth are.
Yeah.
And so it's just like really uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I hadn't had a big Tootsie Roll Pop in a long time. So
I have this fear of like going to the emergency room because I almost cursed there.
Yeah.
Because I have a stupid Tootsie Roll Pop like stuck in my teeth, like between one side and the other.
I bet that's not. I bet that wouldn't be the first time that's happened to somebody.
Probably not. When I worked in the ER, a guy came in that had a fork stuck.
Ooh. Actually, that's more common than you think from what I hear.
Arcade.
I've heard that. Probably a military guy.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, it always is.
That was his explanation. Actually, he had to write it all down because he couldn't speak.
Because he couldn't speak because the fork was there.
Yeah. Had his tongue pinned back. It was like, I imagine, really uncomfortable. We were like, what happened? Like, like, how did this happen? And he's like furiously writing, and it's like, was eating too fast. And he must have like
seen the look.
yeah, caught on our confused look, and he wrote, was in the military.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, okay. He just cut a tine off, and that was the end of the problem.
Yeah.
It's like a weird thing to come to the ER about on an ambulance. He actually came on an ambulance. The guy was perfectly capable of driving himself. I don't know what. I guess they just kind of freaked out when they couldn't pull it out.
Yeah. Oh man.
Anyway, that was a strange call. That was one of those that everybody working in the ER came to see.
Oh yeah.
You get those every once in a while. If you ever worked in an ER, you know, like that every so often a case comes in that everybody just like congregates around because everybody's got to see this.
Yeah, right. I'm not going to miss out on that, right?
Yeah, everybody's going to come talk to you at least for a moment because everybody just wants to see.
Exactly.
You get a lot of attention that way. It's probably embarrassing.
Yeah, I would imagine, especially depending on what the incident is.
He seemed to have good humor about the whole thing, though. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, kind of have to.
All right.
That's the way to be.
Yeah, absolutely. In general, I think.
Yeah, probably. Like, so one of my favorite travel stories is, and I think I might not have told it that long ago on the podcast, but I may have never told it on the podcast. So. Who knows?
Yeah.
I can't remember this. I was in Santiago, Chile with my brother, and we were heading back to our homestay. It was probably 3:00 in the morning, something like that. We'd been drinking and like having a good time, but walking back, and it was kind of like drizzling rain, like really light kind of sprinkle, rain.
Yeah.
Which wasn't a big deal, but it had been raining much harder earlier in the evening. Earlier in the night, earlier in the morning. I don't know. Take your pick. And you learn pretty quickly in Santiago that you never step out in front of a bus. They don't slow down.
Yeah.
So there was a bus coming down the road, and so we stopped at the corner, and this bus drove through and puddled on the side of the road, and just this wave of this dirty street water in Santiago, Chile, like washes over the bus. And so I immediately start cursing, like, what the, what the, mother, what, and I look over at my brother, and he's just laughing. And I'm like, what are you laughing about? And he's like, come on, man, you got to admit, that was pretty funny.
Right. I mean, what else are you going to do, right?
And I was like, yeah, you know what? That was pretty funny. Anybody who'd been watching that, they would have definitely been laughing. I may as well pretend I'm just an observer in this. And, yeah. And so I laughed about it too. And now I think about that when I get frustrated about stupid stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's your lesson for the podcast. Hope everybody's enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.
Signing off.
No, we got some things to talk about, I suppose. The first thing I wanted to mention is Jack Smith. Jack Smith has requested that he do... Oh, okay, so Jack Smith he was the special counsel investigating Trump's mishandling of classified documents in Mar-a-Lago and his... I'm going to put quotes around this one, attempts to overthrow the results of the 2020 election.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That whole thing.
Yeah. So Jack Smith was the special counsel put in charge of these investigations, and he's been asked to testify in front of a closed-door session of Congress about these investigations. And he has requested that he testify publicly to Congress.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so I'm not so much interested in whether he testifies privately or publicly, but it has been coming more and more to my attention that everything is entertainment.
Yes.
Like everything is spectacle, everything is entertainment, and this is like the law as theater.
Yeah.
And it's because like if he wants to testify publicly instead of behind closed doors, the reason is because he wants to make a case to he wants to appeal to public opinion, not to the law.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, that's the idea, because he feels like if he can make a good enough case that, that enough of the other side will be on his side, that maybe he won't get prosecuted.
Yeah. And it's incredibly unprofessional, and especially in the case of the law. Now, this isn't new, right? Like, the law has been entertainment for a while. You have Judge Whoever on TV all day.
Yeah.
I can't remember any.
Well, I don't know. There's like Joe Brown and Judy and
Judge Judy that's who I was trying to think
you're thinking of. Yeah.
So this is.
I mean, you go all the way back to Clinton, like that whole fiasco.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. The case is made in public. It's not about the law anymore. It's about getting people riled up, getting people on your side, getting people to agree with the sentiment, even if irrespective of the law.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe he can make a really good case, make a good appeal to the law, but if that's what he was trying to do,
he'd do it behind closed doors.
He can do that behind closed doors in front of that room full of attorneys that makes up most of Congress.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the other thing, is they're all attorneys anyway.
Yeah. So I just find this interesting. I think that it is indicative that he doesn't have a strong case to defend legally what was going on.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that.
Yeah.
I don't know that it even really matters whether he had a strong case legally at this point. I'm honestly a little surprised that the Republicans would rather it be done behind closed doors.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean they're all going to want to get out there and grandstand anyway.
Exactly.
So
anyway, I just thought that it was interesting in regards to that, like it is kind of tearing down one of the fundamental institutions of a successful republic.
Yeah.
Like the law itself. Now, I will make the case, and would have for a long time, but definitely after I read, I think it's Jonathan Hasness' article, "The Myth of the Rule of Law,"
Yeah.
that the rule of law is a myth. I mean, we all know that there's different rules for different people depending on status, and even the president himself, like some of the cases that are going on in the Northwest right now they're undermining Trump's orders. This is mostly with like putting National Guard out there.
Yeah.
They're trying to undermine Trump's orders as being illegal when he was using the same excuses, I'm going to say,
Yeah.
as prior presidents where they upheld it, where they didn't challenge it.
Yeah.
And it's because, well, this is Trump, though.
Yeah.
That's really what it's about. So we know that it isn't an equal playing field for everybody. The rule of law being one of the strongest girders in this country is a myth anyway. It never really existed. If you just listen to a couple of lawyers using different precedents or even the same precedent to argue different points of view,
Yeah.
you know that it's all subjective anyway.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a big one, I feel like, right now, especially with the I guess the prevalence and the public's understanding of what they're calling lawfare.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, it's gonna be it'll be a spectacle.
You
I won't watch it actually, but
Yeah.
because I just don't really care that much. I think it's foolish anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'll watch the spectacle. I always like a good spectacle.
I will probably pay attention to the commentary on the spectacle.
Yeah. I say I'll watch it. I'll watch some of it probably. But
I
talking
mean,
about
I
watching,
may as well go to the source that has a better understanding of what entertainment is and listen to the news.
listen to the news. There you go. Right. Speaking of entertainment, I watched. They had JD Vance was at a Turning Point event in Ole Miss last night, and took questions for. I mean, I only watched about 30 minutes of it, but took questions for a while. I'll say this about JD Vance: he's a good politician.
Yeah.
I mean, he's polished. His responses are sharp. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I mean, he's a sharp politician. And after Kamala and Biden and some of these other folks and Trump, like it's just
Trump's a good politician too, but he's all over the place.
It's a different style though.
Yeah.
Like Vance reminds me of more of like the old school polished politician that gives the politician answer that makes that's just really charismatic, speaking in front of a group.
Yeah.
You know.
He can stay focused. That's the difference between him and Trump.
Yeah. And I'll hand it to him. Like he took a lot of questions and like from college students, just like Kirk would do, like just kind of like taking them and hitting them as he went, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, that was my biggest takeaway more than anything you really said was just how polished he is. So
prepared, like he's spent some time thinking about some of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's interesting.
What a welcome change that would be.
Right?
Oh man. So. Well, I think what I wanted to spend the most time on here was the Ukraine war actually.
Okay.
And the reason is like, we've seen how particularly the EU has been resistant to any kind of negotiations or bringing an end to this thing at all. Yeah. Of course, you know, the United States has been a part of that as well, but at this point, it seems like we have a president that's intent on bringing this to a close through negotiations. Although, You don't really know because
it's a moving target.
Yeah, exactly. He just bounces back and forth.
Yeah, depends on what's going on that particular day.
Yeah, who he talked to.
Who we
last.
talked to last. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
oh yeah, no, I think that it's the Ukrainians, they can win this thing. They just need tomahawks. And then he talks to Putin and he's like, yeah, no, we would never send them tomahawks. Of course not. And that happened to be the day that poor Zelensky arrives. And, but he's like, oh, but, we need a ceasefire. But the Russians have always said that they'll never accept a ceasefire. Like, we've been through this.
Yeah.
We're not doing this again. But, okay. So that's the rub right there. I read a really interesting response to an article on Moon of Alabama. And they were talking about, they were detailing the advantages to the EU, NATO, the U.S., the West in general, of not negotiating, of refusing to negotiate a resolution to the Ukrainian conflict.
Yeah.
And I found this really interesting, and I hadn't thought about it from this perspective, and I think this guy's onto something. Okay. And so I wanted to share some of these ideas and kind of my take on them and expand on them a little bit myself. But the crux of his case is that that Russia only wins this, no matter, they can win it militarily in the sense that they can, if they need to,
take territory.
They can take all of Ukraine in the end.
Yeah.
But they can't really afford to occupy.
I was going to say to bring it into the Federation or whatever.
They can't afford to occupy Western Ukraine.
Yeah.
Eastern and Southern Ukraine, no problem. Those people are mostly consider themselves Russians anyway.
Yeah.
They're Russian speaking,
They'd be happy.
Russian ethnic, Russian language, Russian culture, etc. They want to be a part of the Russian Federation.
Yeah.
And remember here, there has been this historical change just in 10 years, really, since 2014, that initially the Donbass regions were happy being a part of Ukraine.
Yeah.
And then there was the 2014 coup, and they were still happy being a part of Ukraine, but they wanted some political autonomy to protect themselves from the anti-Russian sentiment in the new government.
Yeah.
And then that wasn't working, and so then they wanted to be an independent Ukraine, or an independent territory.
Yeah.
And then they wanted to be part of the Russian Federation, and then they want the Russian Federation to come in and protect them.
Yeah.
This is the progression of events
yeah.
over time. So there wasn't initially a desire for them to become part of Russia except as protection from their own government.
Yeah.
And the Russians didn't want them then.
Yeah.
And even now, these territories that are Russian in Ukraine, there's a big rebuild. It's a huge investment for Russia.
Yeah.
They've committed themselves on these 4 oblasts, the Donetsk, Luhansk, Kherson, and Zaporozhye, because they have, now they are officially, as far as the Russian Constitution is concerned, part of Russia.
Yeah.
And the people of Russia, at this point, public opinion would be opposed to abandoning Russians to the Ukrainian government.
Yeah.
Which is why they're having trouble making a negotiation of let's freeze it at the lines, or let's even all right, the Russian Federation can have the Donbass, but we'll just cut Kherson and Zaporozhye where the line of contact is. Even that is unacceptable to a lot of the public in Russia.
Yeah.
So Putin's in a position where if he wants to maintain power in Russia, he's got to see this to an end one way or another.
Yeah.
Now, the Russian Federation probably has the military power to take over Ukraine, but not to hold it.
Yeah.
And so by refusing to negotiate an end to the war, they're refusing to give Russia a satisfactory ending. They're refusing to give Putin a win.
Yeah.
And all Putin really needs for a win is to be able to negotiate the neutrality of Ukraine. That would
I mean,
do
that's
it.
all he's wanted the whole time.
Exactly. Like keep NATO out of Ukraine, but even like you have to have some guarantees now, because we've proven that even though Ukraine's not part of NATO now, there's still a staging ground for NATO.
Yeah.
NATO weapons come in, NATO troops come in, NATO support. It has become a platform to attack Russia, like a NATO platform to attack Russia, even though Ukraine isn't officially part of NATO.
Yeah.
So you have to get some kind of guarantees that that won't happen. You need not only neutrality, you need assurances that NATO weapons won't be stationed in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And NATO troops won't be stationed in Ukraine.
Yeah. And when you sign these agreements, you got to make sure everybody's fingers aren't crossed.
Right. Well, I mean, and this is the other problem is, like, even if you get all that, they got a good agreement in the Minsk Accords.
Yeah.
But nobody held up the Minsk Accords except for the Russians.
Exactly. So, I mean, what are you...
And Germany and France later on said that they only signed those accords to buy time to build up the military power of Ukraine, that they never intended to follow the accords.
Yeah.
So, and now you're asking Russia to make another agreement. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not even doing that. They're refusing to negotiate an end to this. And so... since they can't afford to occupy it, they can't really trust an agreement, and they can't leave Western Ukraine as a platform for NATO or Western invasion or strikes into Russia.
Yeah.
They're in this like weird catch-22 situation where the only thing that they can settle for is a solid agreement with international oversights that Ukraine will remain neutral territory and no NATO troops or weapons will be there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but by refusing to negotiate, they don't get that end, period. Like, there's no way that they can get that end if they refuse to negotiate. You force Russia to just capture more and more territory and sink more.
That you know that they can't hold.
Right, and sink more into it. And the other part of that is that this helps achieve what has been the grand goal of the West for quite some time now, which is if it becomes a loss for Putin. Yeah. So even if they settle the thing, but they don't get a neutral Ukraine, if they leave just this little rump Ukraine, but it can still be a platform for NATO, then it's a loss.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pressure on Putin in Russia to be more aggressive and more assertive in this war anyway, which he's not doing.
Yeah.
And so then it'll be seen as weakness on his part that he failed and Putin could lose power. Yeah. And the West would be really excited about that until they see who takes his place.
Right up until whoever comes next appears. Yeah.
Because there's a strong possibility that if Putin loses power because of a failure in this war in Ukraine, that the person who takes over is going to be a bigger hawk.
Is going to be more heavy-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to be some pro-Western person. Like, it's just that's not in the cards. It's only going to go one way. I mean, it's not like we're going to get to pick who we put in there.
Yeah, be careful what you wish for, right?
Exactly.
So that's what he's saying. You know, this guy, his argument, that was kind of the point of his argument, is that they're refusing to negotiate because if they just don't negotiate, they can't lose.
Yeah.
Or at least Russia can't win.
Yeah.
And if Russia can't win, then that destabilizes Putin's power base, because he is popular in Russia right now. But there are a lot of people attacking him for not being more decisive in this war.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it seems to me those are the things that could hurt him, like outright losing the war, or just this thing dragging on for so long. Because at some point, the country will get war weary. Yeah, I mean, it does have to end. Mm-hmm. Like I say, those seem like the biggest threats to Putin to me. Yeah.
Well, right now, the country on the whole is approves of the war in Ukraine.
Yeah.
I mean, like the
overall
public opinion is on his side right now.
Yeah.
That
won't last forever.
Yeah. The problem is that he's being attacked by the Hawks for not being more decisive and aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, And the idea here is that if you just don't let him win, that then he loses and he loses power. And yay,
Yeah.
Putin's finally out of power.
How long is that going to take, though?
Well,
that's the other thing you've got to weigh here. I mean, how many more Ukrainian bodies are there?
yeah. Well, I mean, but the thing is that if they don't negotiate an overseen neutrality for Ukraine, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If there's no deal that includes that, it doesn't matter. He could kill everybody in Ukraine. If they can't hold the territory, then NATO just moves right back in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that is true. But I just don't see it playing out that way, though.
Yeah. It just becomes,
in the end,
like if they refuse to negotiate, then Ukraine is a permanent threat to Russia.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the goal.
But
that
Russia, whether it's Putin or somebody else, will never allow that.
What can they do? Can't take on the EU. Can't take on NATO. Can't take on the U.S.
Yeah.
They've been pretty careful to avoid
those type of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's true. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just like I said from the beginning, I don't see how this ends in a good way.
Oh, no, I don't either.
I mean, I just don't see the path.
Yeah.
I had hoped with Trump that the path would kind of like come about.
Yeah.
But it hasn't, and it's pretty clear now it's just not going to. I don't know where we end up here.
Well, it could go really bad because now we've got like the kind of nuclear brinksmanship we haven't seen since the end of the Cold War.
Yeah.
And we don't have the kind of safeguards that were in place at the end of the Cold War because they've torn up all these nuclear arms treaties.
Yeah.
Now, oh gosh.
I was gonna say they're not coming for you, are they?
No, that's a fire truck.
Yeah.
There was the report that that Trump instructed the Department of War, I guess now, the Department of War now, to conduct nuke tests commensurate with the nuke tests being done by other countries.
We really need to test these things? Do we not know how to use them?
Well, okay, but this isn't...
I mean, this is just a provocation, right?
Yeah. No, they've made a big deal out of it, and it could be seen that way because Trump is imprecise in his language pretty regularly, so you don't really know what he's saying.
Yeah.
But honestly, this is not a change in policy if he can be taken literally, because it's the Department of Energy that controls the nuclear weapons themselves. The warheads are under the jurisdiction of the Department of Energy.
Yeah.
The Department of War controls the delivery devices, and those are being tested all the time anyway.
Well, yeah.
Like the bombers, the submarines, the ICBMs, the actual rockets and so forth. Like that stuff's being tested all the time anyway. And now he said commensurate with the tests that other countries are doing. Nobody has tested an actual... The United States was the last country to... No, that's not true. North Korea was the last country to test a nuclear warhead.
Yeah.
But other than North Korea, like the U.S. in 1992, I think, was the last one.
Okay.
So
all the countries that have had them for so long, they're not running periodic dry runs.
But they are testing their delivery devices. And,
Well,
and Russia came out recently and they talked about their Poseidon nuclear-powered torpedo.
Yeah.
And they have a new nuclear-powered cruise missile also.
Yeah.
And they're both nuclear capable in terms of the warhead also.
Yeah.
The difference is that they can run forever because they got some kind of miniaturized submarine power supply type of nuclear engine running them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Which honestly, I think that's kind of cool. Kind of cool.
Right.
Like that you can have a nuclear engine that runs in these little devices and fires up quickly enough to be used in this case. Because most nuclear reactors, they take like at least days, but generally like weeks to actually
get going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're using it in a cruise missile, you have to get it activated in a couple of minutes at most.
Yeah. I would say that's even long.
Yeah. More likely
Yeah.
less than a minute, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just curious about the technology there.
All right.
Yeah, you want to go to other planets? That's the kind of technology that it requires, right?
Maybe Russia's on the brink here.
Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Yeah. But anyway, I think it's a reaction to that. I don't think everybody needs to be scared that they're talking about doing nuclear tests.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Right. Yeah.
Because Trump is kind of unpredictable and imprecise in his language. So, but I don't think it's something to get too scared about. Yeah. But it is another arms race. I mean, like we are falling into another nuclear arms race. It's not about creating bigger warheads, though. It's about creating more efficient, indefensible. That's not the right word, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Delivery mechanisms.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, you think about it, it's kind of amazing we haven't destroyed ourselves already with these things.
Well, that's what Sagan used to say all the time. He talked a lot about, like his big question about the world was, how do you get past this? I think he called it technological adolescence without killing ourselves.
Yeah.
Like if he used to say over and over again, like if he could meet a more advanced alien species, that would be his question.
That's the first
like,
question.
How do you get past this moment?
Yeah.
Without destroying yourselves.
Yeah. It's a fair question, and we haven't done, I mean, we've done it so far.
Yeah.
But we're not, I just don't feel like we're over the hump yet.
No, I agree.
So, I mean, maybe you never get over the hump. I mean, maybe as long as you have, as long as you have governments feuding with one another, this is going to be a issue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a possibility.
At least until we get off the planet. I mean, maybe then that's when you can say we've finally gotten past it.
Yeah, where you can't like destroy all of us, probably.
Yeah, you can't destroy all of the people everywhere because we're on multiple planets now. Like, we ain't got there yet, so
yeah,
I don't know.
It's an interesting question. I don't have an answer.
No.
I wish I did.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something that keeps me awake at night, but I have really huge concerns about just the existence of nuclear weapons all over.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, there's just no putting it back in the bottle. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're always going to be out there and be a threat. I don't worry about, like you say, I don't stay up at night worrying about it, but you just wish that we could get to a point. I mean, even if we're always going to have governments, that it seems like our government is the one that's the most antagonistic and creates the most of these problems. It almost feels like we could live on a more peaceful planet if our particular government would just stay out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
not everything that goes on everywhere in the world should be in the purview of the U.S. government.
Yeah. That's like since World War II. I mean, that's the world we live in.
I think the whole idea of the Pax Americana is a joke. It's a farce.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if it's possible to be powerful enough to keep things under control and not use it just to your own advantage.
Yeah. Well, because
it's one of those things that we've talked about over and over again. Like the U.S., if it wants to sink as much money as it does into military, then it has an opportunity then to, like, if you want to end a conflict, you sit out there in the middle and you fire down like you take down the weapons on both sides.
Exactly.
Like if you want the conflict to end between Iran and Israel, you don't just shoot down the Iranian missiles, you shoot down the Israeli missiles too.
Exactly.
Like if you want the conflict to end in Russia, then you destroy both the Ukrainian and the Russian drones and you shoot down the Russian missiles.
Yeah.
There aren't really any Ukrainian missiles, so
yeah, so that'll be pretty easy.
in fact, the only missiles in Ukraine are ours, I think.
Yeah.
That's not true. The
But
EU's
you
giving
be
them
a
stuff,
you be a fair player to both sides and truly, and that what boggles me is because we talk about all the time how we're an empire, and I think in a lot of ways we are. You would think that an empire, that's what they would want to do, is to stop both sides and just stop the conflict altogether. It's not what we do. I mean, we always pick a side and go with it.
Yeah, but the institution as a whole isn't rational. It's made up of a bunch of people that are all seeking to
Better theirself.
better their own interests. Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And so there are people that I guess maybe more effectively make the case that what is in their interest is in the interest of the whole.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or they give the right people the right amounts of money and they get their way. I'm not entirely sure. It's probably a combination.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've heard people make compelling arguments as to why the U.S. should be involved in all this stuff all around the world.
So have I.
I disagree with them. I mean, I disagree with them fundamentally, and I can poke holes in their arguments, I believe, based on history, if nothing else.
Well, but history is what you have, because we've done this for so long. There's a nice long track record of it not working out. So it's pretty easy to poke holes in it once we've done it for so long and it just doesn't work, you know. Because on the whole, I agree. Like, I mean, I do think that, I mean, there's definitely an argument for us to try to keep the peace out there. Mm-hmm. But just our track record just shows it doesn't work.
Well, but there are people out there that would say to you, no, the terror wars have worked. We haven't had a 9/11 since 9/11 because of the terror wars.
It's the whole COVID vaccine argument. Like, imagine how bad it would be if you didn't get it.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
you can't.
I know.
Yeah, so I don't know.
But I'm just saying that's a compelling argument to people.
I get it. I mean, it's worked before.
I mean, I would counter with like, yeah, but you've destabilized this entire region, and like this whole region's in chaos, and exactly the wrong people are now in control of a bunch of these like third world nation states.
Yeah.
And like, what happens from here? Like, they can't reach out right now, but they remember who killed their mother and their cousin and their like. I mean,
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
you know, that stuff's still there. And that's what caused 9/11 in the first place, which most people don't understand.
A lot more people understand it than they used to.
That's true. Thankfully.
Yeah. I mean, I'm one of them. Like, there was a time I didn't get that I didn't I mean, I discovered Ron Paul, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know. This has certainly the possibility of going really wrong. And like I said, I don't, like, we have some nuclear brinksmanship that's going on now. And I think that, you know, Trump wants to reduce that threat. The problem is that right now, and actually in a lot of ways, like I heard Mearsheimer making the argument that Trump's response, being so direct about, you know, like, we'll use them if we have to. Like, if you force our hand, we don't have any problem pressing the button kind of thing.
Yeah.
Is exactly the right response from a realist perspective, because you don't want to show any weakness.
Well,
you don't want to show hesitancy. You give the other side the upper hand if you show any hesitancy.
Yeah.
And so it's probably the right response. It's the response that's most likely to result in nothing happening.
Yeah. I mean,
But at the same time, it does raise the temperature.
yeah. I mean, overall, that's how we've gotten this far.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think that there's the same kind of understanding of or belief even in the mutually assured destruction argument. And I know that there are fewer restrictions on the proliferation of these weapons by the countries that hold them.
Yeah.
And that's
So-
a problem.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, this is not happening in the same environment that it happened in during the Cold War.
Yeah.
Like, there were really strict limits and restrictions that all parties had agreed to.
Yeah.
And we don't have any of that now.
No, it's all gone.
And part of the reason that we don't have any of that is because we want to bring China into this. But like, you're looking at the U.S. and Russia both have around 4,000 nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
The U.S. has a little more. Russia has, U.S. has fewer. Russia has more.
Okay.
But China only has like, now this. Remember, when we were talking about this a couple of years ago, it was like 300 to 400.
Yeah, that's the numbers I remember. What
Yeah.
is it now?
Now it's 600 plus, and they expect to be over 1,000 in the next 10 years.
So they're ramping up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll probably never reach the level that Russia and the U.S. have, but they don't need to.
Unless, well, yeah. I mean, we made the argument back then that 300 or 400 is more than enough for any country.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
it's more than enough to destroy the planet. Like,
Yeah. You only need a few to get through. I mean, we're talking about thermonuclear weapons. These are big explosions.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a dangerous place. I think I just wish that they would use this as a jumping off point to once again start signing some treaties that limit like where you can place them, how many you can have, what can be done. Like, start bringing these numbers down.
Yeah.
Because you don't need 4,000, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And like, okay, well, why don't we bring them? If China has 600 nuclear weapons, like, why don't we start there? So everybody bring it down to 600. 600 is your limit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's more than enough. Like, that is a deterrent.
That's very authoritarian of you, Mike.
Yeah.
to tell a state how many weapons they can have.
It's a mutual agreement between states. It's a compact between states. It's not me handing down the law. It's not the same thing.
Yeah. It just sounded very authoritarian.
I said, let's start there.
Yeah.
This is a negotiation. I'm offering terms.
No, I get it.
But I don't think that that's happening
It's
soon.
not. No, we're not in that direction.
Yeah. Right now, it's moving the wrong way. We should probably talk about SNAP ending tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks like it's really going to happen.
Yeah, I'm surprised, honestly. I really thought that they would get together and at least write some kind of like continuation bill just for this or something.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think that both sides would let this happen. I mean, the Republicans are just dug in that that the Democrats won't sign on, and I mean, they've just dug their heels in. I don't like where this is heading.
Yeah, it's weird that SNAP benefit. So, for those that don't know, somehow. Maybe you're in another country.
It could be, yeah.
SNAP is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program.
Yes, yeah, that sounds
Something
right.
like
it
that.
That sounds right. It's food stamps.
Yeah, it may be different forms of those words. It might be Supplement Nutritional Assistance Program or something like that. But anyway, it's those things.
Yeah.
It's food stamps. It's a benefit for low-income families to buy food. I don't know what kind of restrictions there are on these things to begin with. We probably don't need to get into just how good food stamps is generally. I have seen people buy some stuff with food stamps in front of me that I was like, whoa, that's covered?
I work in retail. At least it's different in different states, but in Alabama, there's not much that's restricted. A handful of things like energy drinks, not even all. Some energy drinks are restricted. That's the only real restriction, and alcohol, tobacco, stuff like that.
Okay, so you can't buy cigarettes.
No, you can't buy cigarettes or alcohol. But I mean, that's
not even wine.
No, not even wine. Even if you're going to cook with it.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, those
this
are all
is just cooking sherry.
Exactly. So yeah, you can't buy those type of things. But what really amazed me, and I guess I just didn't realize this until this came up, but there's 40 million Americans on food stamps.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That just seems crazy high to me.
Yeah, it's an eighth of the population.
That's wild. Like yeah. So going through all of this week, I learned that, and I just when I heard that, I was like, well, that's just crazy. But then I really started thinking about it, and just like, how many people do I know that are on this? And it's a lot. Like, I know personally quite a bit of people that are like going to be affected here.
Yeah. Are they going to start stealing stuff from Walmart?
I mean, those people haven't said anything like that, but that is all over social media right now.
I know. It amazes me that would be your first stop.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're not, and this is so self-defeating too. Like, I was reading some stuff today about food deserts.
Oh, yeah.
And and something that never came up in the article is like the economics of why there are food deserts.
No, there's a legit reason, and it's getting worse.
Yeah. And so this is one of those things where it's like, okay, if your decision is, I can't live off of everybody else, so I'm just going to go steal from these stores, then these stores will leave your neighborhood.
Yeah, it's already happening. The company I work for pulled out of a bunch of areas recently, within the past year or so. And that's why. And so I looked at some of the books on some of these stores years ago because I was helping out and was doing different things. And I had asked the question then. I was like, why do we have these stores? Like, it makes no sense. Like, these stores are losing money hand over the fist. And what I was told was, well, the stores that are more profitable make up the gap, and these places need something, and we're providing a service to the community by being there. And I was like, well, not if we're losing money. We're still a business. Yeah. I mean, that's what I said at the time. Well, since then, we've started to pull out of some of those areas for just the argument I made is that, like, how long are we going to do this?
So were they losing money because they just didn't have enough customers, or were they losing money because of shrink problems?
It was both. So the shrink was actually just on top of the fact that they're just not profitable. Yeah. Like, they don't sell enough stuff to make enough money. And then you throw the shrink aspect on top of it, and it's just like, well, there's just no profit here, So, I mean, and it sucks because, I mean, you're right. Like, places do need things, but like, if the community doesn't want it isn't going to respect having it there and appreciate having it there, and it's losing money, like, why would it stay?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, as much as I've heard people rag on capitalism this week, like, that is capitalism, though. Like, you got to make money.
Yeah. I mean, you can't complain about large corporations and then complain when they close and move out of your area, because even though they have other stores to make up the difference, they don't make up enough of a difference to make it worthwhile
to do.
Obviously, a mom and pop store couldn't survive in that place. I mean, I say that. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think that's probably more likely, because then you got two people, they, like, if it's like literally a mom and pop store, they make the kids work after school. They have the two people there. They don't really have to pay them exactly, except for whatever revenue or profits they can earn. Well, like, maybe you can keep it on a small enough scale and manage your inventory in a way to do well. Like, maybe that is the answer, is to go back to like a smaller scale, local owned place.
What I've seen,
like these little general stores that existed all over the country 100 years ago.
What I've seen as far as that goes is the community will be more responsive to having it there if the person that is running it is in the community. Yeah. What we ran into a lot with these stores was we had people that were not part of the community running them, and they just don't. The community doesn't care. But when they've got somebody that they know lives right up the road and is, part of that area, those stores do better in that type of situation. Okay. They still weren't profitable. Yeah. Because the person that was managing the area when I was doing all of that had put those type of people in, and the stores were doing better, but they still weren't profitable.
Yeah.
But you could almost make an argument for keeping them because they weren't hemorrhaging money. They were just, not where most stores should be.
Yeah. Well, there are alternatives to theft. I think part of this is that I'm a little disappointed that, well, a couple of things. I'm a little disappointed that there's so little respect for other people's property, that both you take food stamps in the first place and that your alternative to food stamps is I'm just going to go steal what I need.
Well, the truth is a lot of people taking those food stamps are probably already stealing from retail places. So
well, and they might be stealing from all the taxpayers too, because the idea that 40 million people in this country deserve food stamps is beyond me. The thing that really bothers me about it, of course, is that there are children involved in this also that don't have the capability of some of the alternatives that an adult has access to.
Yeah.
But there is, like, this country is full of charity.
Yeah.
There's a lot of support for people that can't make it.
And
can't make it.
And there would be more if we weren't taxed into a graveyard.
Yeah. I've had this discussion with some people. What I've learned is that there are people that believe that private charity works, and they're generally people who give to charity. And there are people that believe that private charity will never work and the government needs to take care of these people because they would never give to charity.
Yeah. Which, I mean, it's your right to choose. If you don't, if you don't feel bad for people and don't give to charity, then that's, that's your right.
Yeah.
But
it's funny that they think that it is the society's responsibility to take care of people that can't take care of themselves, but they refuse to take any personal responsibility in doing that.
I'm just curious if any of those people pay extra taxes just because they know that that's where their money's going, right?
No.
Yeah.
I pay my taxes and I give to charity.
Yeah. Which is what you should do. I mean, given the status as it is,
Yeah.
but I'm not giving extra money to the government and not.
Now, to be clear about this, only most of the charities that I give to are research charities.
Yeah.
So I'm giving to a charity that provides research grants for this or that.
Yeah.
One of them is cancer research. One of them is schizophrenia research. Just as a couple of examples. And I do give to a charity that works both in the U.S. and internationally to provide clean water to communities.
Yeah.
Because I think that one's really important.
Absolutely.
And they do both long-term sustainable water to communities that need it, and they do emergency water after hurricanes and stuff like that too.
A disaster.
Yeah. So that's a good one. My only problem with them is that they send me a letter every month. I have a monthly donation set up, and I still get a letter from them every month asking me for money.
It's
please,
coming,
dude.
I promise.
Yeah, I have an automatic payment to you. Please stop bugging me.
Right. Well, I think this has the potential to go really bad really quick.
Yeah, my last note here on this actually is remember a month ago or so we were talking about events that could trigger a violent upheaval in this country.
Yeah.
People going without food is one of those things.
Yeah. No.
In fact, that is probably historically the most common thing that resulted in some kind of revolution.
Oh, has to be, right?
Yeah.
It's the most basic need. So, I put up a meme earlier today, actually talking about a government that can feed you can also starve you.
Yeah.
And that's something I think that everybody should think about is we don't want people, especially 40 million people, dependent on the government. There's got to be a way
to their most basic needs.
To the most basic of all needs that there is. It's just, I don't know. I can't, it's just bad.
Well, and I see this, I can imagine a scenario where this does go really badly.
Yeah.
Where you have kind of a feedback loop in these densely populated Democrat-run cities where people are out of food, they're stealing everywhere. Some of those places, it's not even really illegal.
Yeah. Well, that's the other problem. Yeah.
But it turns into riots pretty quickly because, like, if everybody's just going in and taking what they want, if there's no kind of prices to limit the amount of stuff that you take, essentially, like, then stores are just out of food entirely.
Yeah.
And when there's no more food to get, then, it turns into riots.
Well, these companies will stop sending trucks in there.
Yeah. But that's not even the end of the problem. The problem there is that then Trump sends in the National Guard or the military to just like raise the level of violence that goes on.
Yeah.
And then there's riots against that as well. And so then you got people that are feeding themselves that are also getting out on the street.
Yeah. Yeah,
it could get out of control really quickly.
It really can. It's a dangerous game they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm all for trying to get 40 million people more stable.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's my biggest takeaway from this is that we've got to get a portion of this country back involved. I don't know. Like, I just don't know.
It's amazing. Like, I talked to a bunch of people in the course of my life that lived through the Depression.
Yeah.
Most of them were pretty young during the Depression, but some of them weren't.
Yeah.
And there was their biggest problem during the Depression is that they felt, they were so self-conscious and felt that they had failed in such a way if they had to take charity.
Yeah.
Like, they would stand in line for low-wage jobs day after day. Like,
anything they wanted, could do.
Yeah, they wanted to take care of themselves. They would take any kind of job just to work for just a couple of days. Just give me a couple of bucks. Buy some bread and some butter and, feed my family by my own work.
Absolutely.
And that kind of pride is completely lost in this country.
Well, and I think that
people are perfectly content taking other people's money to survive for themselves. It's the Bastiat thing is that the government is that great fiction by which or through which everyone tries to live at everyone else's expense.
Yeah. Well, I do feel like it's intentional. Like I think that our government has over time encourage this through many means. I don't think that this is like an accident that we've ended up with 40 million people on food stamps. We're running a little long, but I think we need to address at least quickly the commentary that this is a failure of capitalism. Oh yeah, because that's been coming up a lot. This is not a free market country. Food stamps is not a product of capitalism. Yeah, food stamps specifically is absolutely a socialist program. It's a socialist program. There's no way other way to slice it. Mm-hmm. But the problems with the markets here is all the government intervention. Like this is a country where there's huge interventions by the government into the market with requirements that employers provide certain benefits, requirements that employers pay certain amounts, like they're defining the contracts that employers will make with employees. This is not a free market. This is not a free market system here. And in fact, I would say that this is a fascist system primarily, that there's the public-private partnership, the dreaded public-private partnership, which means that the private essentially bribed the public to get their way with certain legislation and so forth that benefits the private company, which is a big part of why so much is controlled by just like giant corporations because they have the lobbying power. Well, they've got the money. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They can buy those politicians and buy those votes when they need them. Yeah, like all of these things, these like major legislation that's supposed to help the public, like the what was the free internet thing called years ago? Net neutrality. Net neutrality. There you go. Like that was written by the biggest tech companies in this country. Yeah. Like that wasn't something that was supposed to reel them in. Yeah. That was something that was going to give them a leg up against the competition. Ultimate control. Yeah.
So just like keep that in mind. Like if we went to a system where the government played less of a part in defining who or deciding who the winners and losers were in the market, this whole thing would work a lot better.
Yeah.
That's the problem, is that it's become more beneficial for companies to lobby to the government to get their way than to lobby to the consumer.
Exactly.
And like there was one of those things that I responded to a couple of weeks ago that commented on the Ron Paul quote. They were talking about healthcare in this country. That was their example of a capitalist system that had failed, so that nobody could get healthcare and like nobody could afford healthcare. And I was like, this is a really poor system, because probably the only industry in this country that's more heavily regulated than the healthcare system is banking and finance.
Yeah.
And that's probably the most corrupt system in this country, is banking and finance. In fact, I would say that there's a direct relationship between the amount of government regulation on an industry and how corrupt that industry is.
Yeah. I mean, it can only go one direction, you know?
So the most regulated industries in this country are the most corrupt industries, and they aren't the most regulated because they're the most corrupt. It's the other way around.
Yeah, it breeds it.
Mm-hmm. So, I guess we can close out there. I had another thing that we can address, but we can address it any time, and we're over an hour, I think. So
yeah,
may as well close out.
I hope everybody survives the week.
Yeah, happy Halloween to everybody.
Yeah.
Hopefully you're not like me and turn everything off and
shut off society for the night.
Yeah, hope that you don't get bothered.
Life's full of choices, man. You could dress up and turn your light on and greet probably 3 or 4 trick-or-treaters.
Yeah. Because I'm on the major road here, there's actually like a lot fewer trick-or-treaters than there used to be.
I wouldn't expect there to be very many where you're at. Yeah. You're not in a good spot. I think 3 or 4 is generous.
Yeah. The real thing to do would be to like see, I didn't put up fake spider webs. I have real spider webs out there.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and they are there. They're like legit.
That's a deterrent. Actually, they're mostly not there anymore. It's gotten too cold for the spiders. They all moved away.
They've all moved. Yeah. Well, there was a time.
Yeah, not that long ago.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Well, we'll be back in a week. Probably back to Friday, right?
Yeah.
This was just Halloween was this Friday, and so one of us has kids.
Yeah.
They're not really Halloween goers, I don't think, anymore, but
they're still kids.
Yeah.
There'll always
other
be
things
kids
to do,
me.
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the meantime, you can follow us on Facebook. You can subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, and or Podbean. Like and share, comment. You can always email me at michael@thelibertymike.com. That's our website, by the way, thelibertymike.com. You can go there. Podcast is there too.
Yep.
Old articles, little histories, stuff about us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was gonna.
You haven't been there in a while.
Yeah. I go in there once a week, and add another podcast, mostly. I did. So I have some partial pages that I wanted to activate, but so one of them, the one that I most wanted to do was recommended reading.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to get like the affiliate link set up with Amazon first.
Yeah.
That way, you could link from our page to Amazon to buy the books that I recommend, and we could get a little cut of that.
Yeah. All right. I
think it's a pretty small cut, but whatever. Every little bit helps.
Yeah.
You can help me pay for subscriptions to the newspapers the online newspapers that don't work with archive.is or whatever.
Yeah.
The ones that are behind a paywall that I can't read, which is annoying.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, but that's our website, thelibertymike.com. And, yeah, every interaction helps. I don't understand these algorithms at all.
Me either.
Like, there's been a lot more activity on our YouTube page recently than there has been before.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. because we're not video.
Yeah. It's definitely more activity on the Facebook page, but I welcome it.
Yeah. It all helps.
Yep.
Thank you, those of you that are new, and tell your friends.
Yep.
So we'll be back next week when we finally get this right. And in the meantime, try to stay free.
Life short, live free.
Ciao.
Later.